You're upset I'm the top performer? Then you get yourself a bare minimum employee. TLDR at the bottom. For background, my jobs have always been geared towards data entry, as that's what I am best at. I've always typed over 120 plus and love finding new keyboard shortcuts to save me time and just be more efficient overall. Not a brag. Trust me. Because of this skill, I have always excelled in prior roles that utilized it. That is, until my current career. I have been with this company for almost 3 months now. As with a lot of data entry jobs, this one has weekly productivity that you must meet. By week 2, I was meeting productivity once I grasped the role. This fueled me to try and get even faster. I learned the programs I was to be using and used simple keyboard shortcuts to toggle between programs, close them, used Excel formulas to concatenate and VLOOKUP repetitive information that others usually type out every time, etc. You get the idea. If there is a way to save time, I will find it. We get the team productivity email yesterday, and I see that I tripled what is expected of a single employee in an entire week. My numbers skyrocketed to levels that haven't been reached before. Now, here's the really fun part. Rather than getting any sort of praise, this company has felt anti-praise since I started, or being asked how I did it. I get an email from management stating my numbers are concerning, and that they're essentially opening up an investigation to see if I cheated somehow. I even received a screenshot of others' numbers in one specific area with management stating it's impossible to have that much a lead over those who have been here for years. My numbers were in the 800s while the second highest was 300 in the week. Today my boss calls me and says she's been spending the day checking my work. And so far everything has been accurate. Mind you, this investigation didn't start with her. She was just asked to check my work and was reporting what she found. But it's all accurate. She says I can continue with what I am doing since she found no problems. Now, I learned quickly that this isn't the type of place to be praised. There is zero incentive for anyone to go above and beyond if it's just going to be questioned. Now to clarify, I fully understand that if something seems off, a company is going to want to check and ensure I am understanding the work and entering it properly, especially with a new employee. But to email me stating it's concerning and impossible prior to even checking my work is where I have the issue. I shouldn't have even needed to be told it had to be looked into. They were told my numbers were accurate, and there has been radio silence since. No apology. No praise. No, how did you do it? In hopes I can show the rest of my team so we can get caught up one day. So with what little knowledge of Excel I had, I made a spreadsheet that tallies my accounts as I go so I can pace myself, and I am now alerted as soon as I meet that goal so that I can stop working without going over. I did add just a tiny bit more wiggle room to my spreadsheet as to not accidentally go under productivity to where they would have reason to use corrective action. But just ever so slightly above the bare minimum. If they're going to treat me like a bare minimum employee, they're going to get a bare minimum employee. TLDR. As a new employee, I broke a productivity record at work and was the top performer. Rather than be appreciative, management accused me of cheating before checking my work and seeing I did it accurately. I wasn't appreciated for my skills. So I made a spreadsheet that tells me when to stop working to avoid ever going above and beyond for them again. Edit to add. I am very much looking for new employment, and I am open to any suggestions for remote work if any of you have leads on a company that will utilize and appreciate the skills that I have to offer. Located in the U.S. Usual suspects. BBBB, but we can't find top talent. Top talent shows up. Usual suspects. Not you. I wonder how many other employees they drove to mediocrity. I had a temp job where I worked with the union shop steward, and he told me that if he saw a new employee working too hard, he told them to ease up and take it easy. You should leave for a new job. Make sure that right before you leave you start trying again and do 2x the work as everyone else. Then call up whoever owns the business at your previous job and offer to train their existing employees for a huge consulting fee, since they are clearly all incompetent idiots if you do over 2x as much work as them in your first month at the company. Institutionalized mediocrity sounds a bit soul-destroying. This gives me a horrible flashback. Trying to explain Excel to a senior to speed up her work, and she said it was too difficult. Meanwhile, I had to listen to another manager complain about how slow she was, but she can't do anything because upper management loves that senior. It drove the manager crazy that she eventually left for a better position and better pay. The company's still there because they do have good people in other departments. It was just her that was the issue. It was Excel. I wasn't teaching her to summon a demon, but apparently it was hard. I worked a 1-year contract and did very well. I applied for a FT position and they hired a younger guy for $3 per hour less. 2 weeks after my year ended, my previous boss messaged me saying that his team's productivity dropped by almost 30% since I left. The younger guy quit the company 6 months later. Did my share of data entry. Taught myself how to write macros. Learned keyboard shortcuts. One place I worked there were 3 of us. And I did more than the other 2 combined. Not hard for one. She spent most of her time looking at celebrity gossip websites. I knew it wasn't a competition, so I offered to show how I did it. The other guy would highlight the data with the mouse. Go to the Edit menu and select Copy with the mouse. Click on the spreadsheet. Click on the cell. Go to the Edit menu and select Paste with the mouse. I showed him CTRL-C/CTRL-V, but he wasn't having any of that. Then there were the folks who had all their numbers in a column in Excel. Then take out their desk calculator. Add them up. Then enter that number by hand. I showed them the Sum button, but they didn't know if the answer is accurate. Oh yes. Entering 33-digit and 2 decimal place numbers by hand on your calculator would never result in a typo. Love this. Keyboard macros and leveraging Excel to produce complex copy-paste have saved me an immeasurable amount of repetitive annoyances. Excel macros and VBA brings back memories. In the 2000s I had a job where a big part of it was coordinating software bug reports between our customer and our engineering team. Customer had their internal system for tracking bugs, issues reported by their users, and we had our system for tracking all of the company's bugs. I wrote a VBA script that would harvest the required data from both systems and create color-coded spreadsheets for the weekly discussion meetings. I got to where my entire week's worth of work took me 30 minutes, and it was the VBA running for 30 minutes after I got it going. Boss figured out what I was doing and asked me to teach the rest of the team. Then our team could take on more projects while actually working less than before. Except for me. I outlasted almost everyone on the team because I was able to automate so much of my work. I hate doing stuff multiple times. If I have to do something a 3rd time, I try hard to automate the task. I had a similar problem at a manufacturing job I had years ago. It was a major manufacturer of household electrical components, and it had a very strong union. I had a few years of assembly experience, so I was hired for a new line they were setting up. The veteran employees had already run the line for about a week to establish procedure and determine a baseline for assembly speed and efficiency. And several of these longtime employees were training the new hires. Well, I sat down and within an hour I was doubling the assembly rate established by the trainers. My trainer started pulling my pieces off the line to check for mistakes. Didn't find any. After a while she goes and gets other trainers. They silently watch over my shoulder as I keep getting a little faster as the day goes on. Break time comes, and my trainer walks with me and pulls me aside to give some advice. Slow down. Apparently when they set the baseline speed, they set it slow on purpose for future bargaining with the company. One thing they had planned was to offer increased speed and efficiency on the new line in return for something they wanted. So I agreed. She would report that my previous speed was accompanied by a big jump in mistakes. And further guidance from her resulted in a more moderate speed with no mistakes. At my work, I gave a little course to my colleagues on how to navigate efficiently in Excel. This was fully supported and appreciated by the company. Control plus Enter, Control plus Shift plus arrow and the stuff. May I suggest to you to make a YouTube video on how you do your stuff and share it with us? I'm interested to know what you do and how you do this. I might have a relevant job open at my shop for somebody with this mixture of basic business and light technical, software wizardry. Can you DM me your rough location, metro area and willingness for relocations or not, and maybe a LinkedIn profile? Do your day's work in 3H and then spend the rest of the time at leisure. Maybe pick up a second half-day remote job for the afternoon's tears of joy. If you want to go further, look into Microsoft Power Automate. If you do this much repetitive stuff, should be ideal to automate it completely. You would only manually do the outliers that fall outside of the norm. It also sounds like you have the right mindset for technical product owner. Or even programming. Takes a lot of learning and interest that never stops. Could be something to look into if you like working with people and like creating innovation. You seem overqualified for your job. Can you not transfer to an IT slot? Any place I've been, the data entry folks are only second lowest to the envelope stuffers. When work comes easy, try to make it pay off. Happened all the time when I temping. I finally asked a manager, so I can look bad, because I'm a temp, so your regular employee will look good when they return? Quote, exactly. Thank you for your honesty. My suggestion, if you're interested in being self-employed contractor, get into workplace efficiency, consulting, training. LF you wanna stay worker bee. See if you can find multiple data entry remote jobs to layer your day and double, triple your salary. As a wage slave. Management accused me of cheating. If I were your manager, and I knew that you were somehow cheating, I would ask you how you did it. Because it's obviously working. And maybe the rest of my team should start cheating too. Back when I was working in a call center, one of our KPIs was first call resolution. % of calls where the person does not call back within 48 hours. I was really good at FCR. When I was being trained, they told us that to qualify for a bonus you needed like over 80% FCR. My FCR was consistently 95% plus. They even started giving me time off the phones to coach my coworkers on FCR. And yet, I never once got a bonus. Apparently having over 90% FCR was considered pure luck. Sure, I was just lucky for the whole time I worked there.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.